Hey everyone, it's Iggy here from the Investing Iguana, and today we're diving into what might be the boldest corporate comeback story playing out in America right now, Intel's fight to reclaim its throne in Silicon Valley. This isn't just about chips and circuits, it's about survival, geopolitics, and one of the riskiest bets a legacy company has ever made. Now before we dig in, a quick reminder of who I am. Iggy, the Investing Iguana, ranked 8th in Tiger Brokers' 24 influential tigers, with over 1 million reads and 58,000 likes on my research, 1,000 plus YouTube videos, and more than 600,000 watch hours as of August 2025. I cover US markets, global economic trends, and how shifting forces shape your investing future. This script is adapted from my latest deep dive on Substack, so if you want the full tables, financial charts, and playbook, it's all there. Link in the description. So, what's the roadmap today? We'll break this down into chapters that mirror the article: the depth of Intel's fall, the strategic pivot, new partnerships that change the game, the market backdrop and Intel's valuation puzzle, and the ultimate make or break moment. And of course, I'll give you my own take, where I think this story goes, and what it means for us as investors worldwide. Let's get into it. Picture this: Intel, once the giant of Silicon Valley, dominating PCs, servers, and the hearts of US tech investors. Fast forward to 2024. Suddenly, the headlines scream $16.6 billion loss in a single quarter. That's not a typo. The largest quarterly loss in the company's history. How does a titan collapse like that? Revenues slid 6% year over year to $13.3 billion. Margins, which used to be a healthy 40% plus, got chopped down to just 15%. Imagine a restaurant that used to clear a solid profit on every steak it sold. Suddenly, it's barely breaking even after every customer thanks to steep costs and wasted inventory. What drove these numbers? Intel wrote off nearly $16 billion of equipment, goodwill, and misfired bets, mainly linked to its once touted Mobileye division and outdated fabs. Add $2.8 billion to cover restructuring and layoffs of more than 15% of the workforce. That's thousands of jobs gone. Yet, here's the twist: Wall Street liked it. Intel stock actually popped after earnings. Why? Because even in the wreckage, the market heard a story: progress, clarity, and a plan worth betting on. It's one of those paradoxical investing moments where ugly numbers hide the seeds of optimism. So what flipped the narrative? In 2024, Intel made what I would call the great identity crisis pivot. For decades, Intel only made chips for itself. It was vertically integrated: design, build, market, sell. But when you lose your design edge to AMD and manufacturing crown to TSMC, you need reinvention. That reinvention, Intel Foundry Services. Instead of being insular, Intel says, we're going to become the factory of the future. Not just for us, but for the world. Think of it as McDonald's saying, forget only flipping our own burgers. We'll cook for Burger King, Wendy's, or even a Michelin star chef. And customers are biting. Intel signed $10 billion worth of lifetime deals across 50 different chips slated for 2024, 2025. Most pivot on its new flagship technology, the 18A process node, set for volume production in early 2025. That's the Ribbon FET plus Power Via dual breakthrough, designed to rival TSMC's most advanced designs. But here's the razor's edge. Intel openly admits if they don't land major external customers at the 14A stage, they might stop chasing leading-edge manufacturing altogether. That's like an airline saying, if we can't get enough passengers for these new Dreamliner routes, we're grounded for good. A high-stakes warning shot to investors. Now here's where the story flips from crisis to potential legendary comeback. September 2024, NVIDIA steps up. Not with words, but with cash. A $5 billion equity investment into Intel. For context, NVIDIA didn't just choose anyone here. This is the most valuable semiconductor company in the world, partnering with the one it used to leave in the dust. The partnership covers Intel building chips for NVIDIA's AI platforms, as well as PCs that blend Intel CPUs with NVIDIA GPUs. For Intel's Foundry business, this is like getting Beyoncé to agree to be your first wedding DJ customer. Massive validation that others can't ignore. And it doesn't stop there. Intel secured $8.9 billion in CHIPS Act funding, with Uncle Sam effectively buying a 10% stake in the company. The US government is literally betting on Intel as its frontline player for domestic semiconductor independence. Then come the whispers. Apple. Yes, Apple. The one that ditched Intel chips years ago may consider using Intel's 14A process for its next M-series lineup, reducing dependence on TSMC. That would be the ultimate redemption arc. And strangest of all, reports that even TSMC itself might collaborate, potentially grabbing 20% of Intel's US Foundry business in a joint venture. Enemy to ally? Maybe. But it would give Intel something it sorely lacks today: execution muscle in chip manufacturing on par with the best. Now, zoom out. Semiconductors aren't just growing, they're exploding. The global market hit $681 billion in 2024. Forecasts say $2 trillion by 2032. But here's the kicker. All that wealth isn't spread evenly. The top 5% of chip companies control 99% of the profits. This means one thing: get big, stay cutting edge, or get crushed. That's why M&A is buzzing. Synopsys just bought Ansys for $35 billion. AMD scooped ZT Systems for $4.9 billion. The giants are bulking up for the AI era. So where does Intel fit? Its stock jumped 25% after the NVIDIA news, then more on Apple speculation. But Wall Street is still divided. Some analysts barely lifted their target prices, warning true financial upside won't show until 2028 or beyond. That's a long time for investors to wait in a market addicted to instant gratification. This brings us to now. Will Intel's comeback be Silicon Valley's greatest rebirth, or a tragic cautionary tale? The clock is ticking. In 18 months, Intel must prove 18A works at scale, turn test contracts into big customer orders, secure Apple or another heavyweight as its anchor client, and build foundry capacity in the US without losing its shirt. And let's not ignore geopolitics. Export restrictions, US-China rivalry, and AI arms races mean every chip decision Intel makes has global strategic weight. It's no longer just business, it's national security. Intel estimates it needs $60 billion in manufacturing, plus $20 billion in working capital to stay competitive. Without customers locking in, that's burning cash at an Olympic marathon pace. For me, as an investor, the question isn't whether Intel can recover, it's whether they do it before the capital well runs dry. Here's my read. Intel is no longer just a stock story. It's America's semiconductor moonshot. Think of JFK saying, "We'll go to the moon," despite rockets blowing up. Intel is in the same place. If it succeeds, shareholders win. Yes, but America wins too. Supply chains, jobs, strategic control, all on the line. Would I bet the farm here? No, not yet. Too many execution risks. But as a calculated speculative play, it's intriguing. Investors who believe in Intel's Phoenix rebirth may find asymmetric upside if the Apple and NVIDIA partnerships produce results. Long-term, though, the absolute key metric I'll track is whether customers commit volume orders for 2025 plus. Without that, it's all smoke and PowerPoint slides. My advice for international investors: watch Intel closely, not just as a stock pick, but as a signal. If Intel succeeds, it validates the US reshoring effort under the CHIPS Act. If it fails, it signals that TSMC's dominance remains practically unbreakable. So let's wrap. Intel has fallen further than anyone thought possible. It's pivoted into a foundry model, secured NVIDIA, US government, and potentially Apple as allies. And yet, it still needs to prove this is a comeback, not just a dramatic prologue to a bigger failure. For us as investors, the lesson is simple. Some of the best opportunities emerge in the ashes of failure, but only if execution matches ambition. If you found this story valuable, hit like, subscribe, and check out the Substack post linked below for the full charts and financial deep dive. And if you're ready to go deeper, consider joining the Investing Iguana membership for exclusive research, model portfolios, and direct Q&As with me. Next up, you'll want to watch my breakdown of NVIDIA's AI empire and what it means for the next decade of semiconductors. Trust me, it connects directly to this Intel story. I'm Iggy, the Investing Iguana. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep your eyes on the long game.